Check, baby, check 1, 2. Sorry for the delay, just getting going. All right, everybody, getting the show started here. My system at the last minute here decided to just start doing whatever it wanted to do, regardless of what button I pressed. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great show we call DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. It is December 18th, 2025. Only a couple of days left to Christmas. About 7.5 days left, or 6.5, however you look at it. Christmas Eve coming up fast. All that good stuff's going to happen. The end of the year is coming up. We're going to have an end of the year monthly close and an end of the year yearly close, which is going to be really interesting this year. This is where I've introduced my good friend Pedro Garcia, but he's on a conference call right now, and he's going to be in and out of that conference call for the entire show. I don't know how much he's going to participate, but he'll be here when he can. As always, ladies and gentlemen, this is an interactive show here. Remember, if you're watching us, you should bring all your friends in to watch us too. We were supposed to have a big show, which I meant to say, drop links to this show and all your trading groups. We were supposed to have a show all about stablecoins today, and a guest from the company called Aegis Capital, or Aegis Incorporated, and they're starting a yield-based stablecoins in which they pay you yield on it. And Pedro and I talk about that a lot. But they canceled at the last minute and want to reschedule for January. So we're going to wing it today here because I have the whole show programmed around that and talks about stablecoins. Without their presence on the show, we should just skip that serious stuff and save it for another day. Pedro, is you here on voice?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can, Pedro.
Awesome. It is a beautiful day. Cannot complain. All systems are firing on all cylinders.
There's an inside joke there, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, Bitcoin, as you can see above the old head here, 87,000, hovering down in this area. We thought, could sneak down into the 80,000 range. It didn't. It's hovering here. Actually, it was when I wrote the show here, 90,000 incoming. I think I had this graphic up here. Yes, 90,000 incoming. We are seeing a big run up here with about the 1 hour is about to break the 200 period movement average and head right up. And then out of nowhere, it just tanked. It said, no striking, you're an idiot. You shouldn't have programmed. I did two things today. I programmed a show for stablecoins and our guest from Aegis. They canceled, so that went out the door. And then I said, all right, I took a look at the markets, what's going on, I need a backup plan. And so I pulled out the 90,000 graphic and said, we're heading up towards 90,000. We're on the way, closing above 200 period moving average here on the 1 hour. It's gonna go up to 90,000, no problem. And then as soon as we get the show started, the show gods came out and said, nope, you guys are gonna have nothing to talk about today.
No, well, we do, because we would have known. Like if you look at what was the major thing that you would have seen on the daily chart?
On mine, the supply wicks there on the past couple hours, and it didn't really, as it was going up through that 200 period moving average, it didn't really close strongly above it in that first hour that pierced it there. I can't get over that far, but right there. And then all of a sudden another supply wick, not a lot of demand wicks, and so the odds of bouncing off that 200 period were pretty high, right?
So the most important one, though, what is the chart that I always look at first?
The daily chart.
Daily chart. So if you look at the daily chart, okay. Now if you look at the daily chart, tap in, go into the 10-minute or go into the hour chart real quick. I'm gonna show you guys how to kind of do this.
With the 1 hour chart, back to the 1 hour.
Now the day for the market starts is really important. 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is when the CME opens. Is where the big money comes in, right?
Right.
What institutions look at. And so at 6 o'clock, I want you to draw a line at the open.
Okay, that blue line is the 6 o'clock Eastern Time open.
Now, I want you to draw a vertical. A vertical line is sideways, right? No.
Yeah. Horizontal line.
Or draw a horizontal line now at the open of that candle.
All right, it's roughly right there.
No. Draw it. I don't want it roughly. It's important. This is important. This is the detail. It's very important. Draw exactly where it opened.
All right.
At 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
There.
Okay. Now, do you see how far did it go down for the day? It
When?
first started. When
First
it opened
day?
up. No, not as
It went down.
many
Went
points.
down from 86,339 to 85,9. So $300.
So $300. Typically, right now, a wick on the Bitcoin chart is easily 1,000, or any size wick. Very rarely. Right? You go and you look at it, the last 20 days, you'll see that you have a wick of at least 500 to 1,000 on either side. So if you look at it, what do I always say? If it goes up first, it will most likely come down. If it has not created a certain wick for its downside or its upside. So it went up first, right? And then now, as it went up, it's now coming down. So your biggest indicator there was literally that you had no demand wick and it was pushing up first. And then the clinch of it was literally liquidity pools that we hit. And then the supply wicks is what was started telling you that it wanted to go down. And additionally to that, you can see that I literally had the supply. We have the crossover of the 8 and 20 there on the daily. And so you could sit there and say, okay, this thing is most likely going to go up, then come down. It's going to need a higher time frame catalyst to drop it down. And so that's one of those things I bring up to people saying, hey, look at your daily chart. What is your daily chart telling you? What is that candle telling you? So you notice that the supply wicks on the daily has been higher. See that versus the lower ones. Then today you went up, which I would expect it to go down. You have resistance above us. Yesterday was a big sell-off day. Look at the volume coming in compared to the last 20 days. And additionally to that, you can see now that it's starting to continue down. So you would have been looking at the fact that the market will most likely want to go down than go up, because it went up in the morning time and the last session, or I say morning, that's the London or the Asian Open and the London Open.
I see what you mean, sir.
Which one is the correct term? I always mess this up. I hate saying this because I don't, is it Asian Open? That is an old term that we used to use. Can you say that anymore, or is it okay to say that?
Well, it's Singapore, and that's in Asia, so...
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't be able to say that unless there's some new term for Asia, like future all of China.
I don't know. I just don't, I'm trying to mitigate any type of, craziness in the future. Yeah, you can just see that. So that's when you're looking at the market, right? And you can sit there and say, which way. Again, that's what we're going to talk about at the beginning of the year here, right? How we finish off this year. If we sell off hard, right, down to those lower points, that's a good sign for a great part, because that means most likely the beginning of the year we'll see it come down first and then push up towards the end of the year. So I'm going to see how far they want to push this, and it's going to be crazy because I expected us last year. I talked about a 300,000 Bitcoin. And right now it is not looking like that's going to happen. So I was wrong on BTC. And I was telling everybody straight up, look, I expect a rally. So I was wrong there. But again, trading is a beautiful thing because you can get up the next day and do it again.
every day since about the early 1500s. and
It's beautiful.
And it'll still keep going on. And if you screw it up one day, there's a fresh day tomorrow.
How long? Wow, I didn't even think about that, but it's literally been almost 500 years. You're right. How long has the markets been open?
Well, the first actively traded markets probably in Amsterdam in the 1500s. The traders kind of learned the accounting system from Mr. Pacioli in Italy. They had to come up with a common way to trade amongst various currencies. They opened up the Amsterdam Stock Exchange and Mercantile Exchange, and then spread from there. Of course, back then you had to be a rich landowner in order to even walk in on the exchange and put your shares down.
And they definitely didn't have charting. Actually, I'm wrong. Candlestick charting was happening, I think, in Japan.
The Japanese came up with the candlesticks.
Yeah. One guy became wealthy. His family
What was he tracking? What was he tracking?
Rice.
I can't remember. The price of rice. That's right.
Price of rice. And and the crazy part is he would track it in regions. So in one region, it looked like it was going to be going up. And so he would take from another region where it looks like it's going to sell off. And he would move his rice or he would buy rice or sell rice based off of the regions. And then he would he started changing market. His family is still wealthy today in Japan. It's crazy.
Wonderful thing. They probably got one of those Japanese 200-year mortgages on the house too.
Dude, that is so crazy. That is so crazy.
Welcome, Kaching, to the program. Thanks for joining us, Kaching. Haven't heard from you in a while. Where the F have you been? You've been hiding from Governor Waltz up there in Minnesota? Hey, Minnesota, eh?
Hey. Oh, that's hilarious. What's up, Kaching?
Kaching, if you got any questions or want us to look over anything, please. We don't see you much around here, so now's your time to get in on the good stuff. Thanks to everyone watching us on Rumble. I appreciate it. Thanks to the nobody watching us on YouTube. Thank you very much. It's nice, very nice of you, YouTube.
Well, it's part of the game.
I just did a survey. YouTube sent me a survey, and they want to know how easy it is to reach your audience and all this type of stuff. As you may suspect, did not rate it well. Did not rate it well. So now I'm going over there to hey it from there.
Hey. Let's jump back here real quick. Let's check out Ethereum here real quick and Solana. So Ethereum is continuing down into our lower areas here of that 2710 area and the 2618 to the 2592 area. We're talking about this area here now for about a week and a half now, as it came in topped off at these levels here. We're starting to see it come down. If it crosses between this area, the next level here is that 2117. So I'm really gauging how far are they going to extend that yearly wick, right? And so when I'm looking at the supply wick here, how far could they push it down? I'm looking at the 8-period moving average, which is sitting at that 1760 area. So if we close roughly down in these lower areas, that 2595, that's going to bring up the yearly wick probably close to that 2000 area. So seeing it potentially coming down from 28-ish area to the 2000 area is a potential wick, a demand wick that we could see it before it continues higher. So it's one of those things that it's still, for me, a bullish sign, even if this closes red for the year, simply because roughly in this area it still showed me a big old demand wick, went up, then came back down and closed red. So from a standpoint of a trader, that's just more bullish for me, because it's still a higher up on the scale where it sits. Like, you know, we're still pretty high comparatively.
Right.
So that's why I look at this from the previous year, going, you know what, that's still pretty good. I want to see that, that there's still a lot of people buying this from an institutional standpoint. And I'm still bullish. I still think we could see and this is the reason why, and I'll explain why. Before I go where I think it should go, because we tapped all the liquidity up here at the top area and then we sold off on it, right? Like, I thought we were going to buy that tap down, pull back a little, and then push up even higher. But that's not what it did. But the most important thing is that it came and took all of this supply. All of these people here stopped them out and then came down. And so, like, there's all that liquidity to me is one of those things that I'm like people stops there, right? And they have a lot of supply. So for me, I would assume that that's going to be converted into more of a buy, right? They'll take out of their positions at the end of the year, boom, and then we'll see it go down at the beginning of the year for next year and see it continue up. So it's going to be really interesting to see here. But my biggest thing is I'm still expecting a easily 10,000 to 13,000 BTC. Just this is what I'm expecting. So, or not BTC. Sorry, not BTC.
Right. Ethereum.
Ethereum. Yeah.
I was like, whoa, there's a pullback. Another 90%er from BTC.
And similar to what I'm expecting with Bitcoin itself. The other part that I'm looking at as well is looking at let's check out. Where are you at?
Keep attention to the timer here, Pedro.
Oh, thank you. Yes, that is important. Hey, thank you so much, my friend. The other part I want to is Solana. There you are. My eyes. All right, so Solana is a little bit of a different story here. Again, I'm not poo-pooing Solana. I'm just saying that from a yearly standpoint, I did expect to see a Solana get. Again, I want to point out where I was wrong. Okay, 89. Or that 900 area here, I expected a Solana of 900, or not 99, but at 900 here. It's not what we saw.
Wait, Solana 900?
Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning of the year last year.
Right. I thought I was forgetting the time frame there.
That's okay. This is yearly. And we're gonna go. I'm just go over this in a very base sense. So but it has a similar situation. It came out, took all of the supply here, took all these stops, right, and then sold off on it. But it came right down to the base of last year and then bounced off. You can see here that the base of last year was that 92 area, of the supply area, or excuse me, of the demand area, and we bounced off. And so looking at that, if this closes low and we see it go down into next year, first part of the year, I'm going to be very bullish on Solana. Now, if it does the opposite, then okay, I'm going to be Now, my biggest thing to be looking at is watching. You can see supply has been dwindling off. We can see that the sellers have been dwindling off from the highs of the 240 area, right? You can see that. That's a good sign of into the next year. If we see it go down, like we've talked about that 92 to 97 area, and then also potentially, again, this is going to be more of a flat number, maybe 50. I say 50 because it's this area you can see here that we consolidated right here and then we exploded up. So we could come down and tap that 90 and then tap that 50. I don't think we'll hit the 50 on Solana, but again, you don't know, like I just don't know if they're going to push it. How far, like there's a lot of stops sitting right here around that 49 area. People feel they'll give up the ghost there. Was like, okay, because when you think about it, there's a lot of meme coins, a lot of our friends are on it, right? And so they'll just, it hurts, right? Especially if they're going down. And we've talked about Fire Chicken, how Fire Chicken's been killing it, just killing it. And if Solana just pumped a little, anytime they pumped just a little, it just skyrocketed, right? Because the underlying value is Solana. So that's where I sit there. That's why I'm if we see it come down even further, right, into that 90 area from the 122, right, and potentially 60 or 65 to that 50. Again, this is one of those things that I'm looking at to see, right, like, where do I want to buy this? Where am I going to get a good return, right? And so this area down here is potentially where I'm thinking it could come down to tap, right? Because that 90 is the previous year. So the previous year sitting at that 90, and if we come down and tap that, man, that's one of those things that you're like, that's money in their pocket. That stops as people giving up their position, basically selling off their position, and the institutions go around and take the buy side of it. Yeah. Hey, Tom.
Yep.
I want you to go and
It's
take
ad
over here real
read time.
quick. Yep.
It's
And
ad
I'll be
read
back in
time.
a second.
All right.
Gotta take this conference call.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a moment to get the old ads spun up here. You got to stick around for these. I really enjoy this. I feel like a 1950s variety show host. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to make it the monies here. That's right. It's time for you to get something delicious or give it to somebody for this Christmas. So if you're still scrambling for a Christmas gift, you need to hear this. Our friends at Chicago Steak Company extended free shipping for Christmas delivery. But their warehouse just told us that they're down to the last few slots. That's right. We're getting close. mychicagosteak.com/rumble. Use code RUMBLE. Gift your loved ones the top 2% of beef in America. USDA Prime and Prime Angus, hand cut by master butchers. Marbling's so good when it hits the hot pan, the whole house fills with the sound and smell of that buttery meat goodness. You hear it searing on there. Yeah, you can smell it right now. Getting hungry, huh? It's the call to the kitchen for everyone. If you spend $229, they'll throw in 6 free ribeyes, plus free shipping, $240 in premium steak on the house. That's right, on the house. Your gift shows up in a black and gold box, packed with dry ice. They crack it open, vapor rolls out, instant Christmas morning vibes. That's right. Give them something they'll ask for next year. This is true. You get steak from someone. What do you think the next time you talk to them? Hey, you gonna give me some more steak? That's right. Don't wait on this. The warehouse is on the line waiting for your order. mychicagosteak.com/rumble. Code RUMBLE, RUMBLE. Or you can just hold your phone up and click that QR code right here. That's right. If you're watching on a big screen TV, hold your cell phone up there and pop that QR code. Put your eyeballs on our advertisers, ladies and gentlemen. Really helps Pedro and I out. Even if you just go visit their site and don't buy anything, give them the opportunity to sell you. Come on, you can do it. I've actually bought it from it and sent it to a family member because they're one of those people that just gets whatever they want when they need it, and they love it. So if Striking's saying it's good, then you know it's going to be. See, told you I loved being a pitch man. Anyway, thank you to mychicagosteak.com. For sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. Use that QR code, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll wait as you hold up your phone to do that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. Pedro made a good point earlier in the last thing when I was talking about, are we going to 90K? Which we were at 88.5. 90K is not a big deal after that. And then we just dumped right out of that. And as you can see on today's wick here, you can't because you're on the small chart. Let's go to the big chart. Tom's TV on here. Why when I hit that button does it do that? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. All right, let's try that again. I don't know. System's doing weird things today. Here, you can see this candle right here. I don't know how well you can see if you're watching on your phone. But we popped up here this morning all the way to 89.3. And I said, all right, it's going to go to 90. And then it immediately turned around and went back. And Pedro said, well, of course it was, because it didn't build out its whole candle yet. Well, as you can see, the candle is the body of the candle has disappeared. And it made this demand wick early in the day. Well, I agree with Pedro completely on what each time period needs to do. I think it was a little fast this morning. In fact, let's go ahead and check Forex Factory to see if there was any news here today that would have caused unemployment claims. We're at 8:30. Okay, that was not the time. Natural gas storage, that would dump the market. It was down a little bit. Actually, it was. Sometimes I can't understand Forex Factory. I don't know. They have a red and a negative. So does that mean it's good or bad? So there doesn't look like there was any big numbers here today. All right, while we wait for Pedro to come back. For those of you watching out there, really appreciate it. I see that there's a bunch of you watching out there on multiple platforms right now, including YouTube and Facebook. Let's give a check to old Twitch. There's even a viewer on Twitch. Thank you very much for watching us on Twitch. And now let's give the stats here on X. Can't see. It says, well, it says 0. So thank you very much to you X people. Let's make sure we're broadcasting on X. We are. It's strange that there would be 0. I mean, I've viewed it twice. As usual, there's something up with X. Except for Mario Nawfal's account, which has 43,000 people. Did you know that on X, when you look and it says live on X and it lists how many people are watching someone's show or listening to it, that's not how many people are there right now watching. It's how many people have seen it scroll through in their feed. That's right, it's views, not viewers. Difference. Which is seemingly pretty stupid to me. But it makes the numbers look a lot higher than they actually are. All right, so there's nothing for Forex Factory today to indicate what happened to the market on the time frame here. Let's look at silver. Silver dumped off a little bit here today too. Not so much. Still at amazing highs for silver. Anyway, let's take a look at the monthly chart here. The purple area is the monthly chart in Bitcoin. Let's go back and fix that so it says Bitcoin. And how it's been tracking throughout the whole month. And I've been doing this all month, the past couple of months, trying to expand my outlook and predict how the month's going to go to give me more confidence in trading, to learn trends, which I had not learned properly, and how trends continue over the long time, how the short-term trends kind of move around during the longer-term trend. One of the things that screwed me up a lot as a younger trader was when it was a downtrend and you're like, oh, I'm shorting this. This is clearly a downtrend. And you're on like the 1 hour chart. And you're like, look at this. It's all going down. It's obviously going to go down. And then you go short and it immediately starts going up. You're like, wow. You're like, the trading gods are out to get me. You let your emotions get to you and that's what you think. And then of course you just go to the 8 hour chart and you see your little 1 hour downtrend was just a little zigzag on an uptrend on the 8 hour chart. And all I had to do was pay attention to that. And so I hadn't learned those things. Anyway, this week was going exactly according to plan until about an hour ago when we started the show. You can see, this is going to mess things up when I do this. No, it did not. You can see this candle right here in the past hour. Dropped right down. This week is this week here, the third trading week of December, and the plan was for it to go up here, and it was. It started to go up. It kind of reached a support right here, and then said, okay, we're going to go up, And then today said, nope, we're going to go down. Anyway, we still have a couple of days. We have all the rest of today. We have all of Friday, all of Saturday, and half of Sunday, or 3/4 of Sunday, for this to at least start to go up and do that. From looking at what Pedro was talking about, not likely to happen. But that was the guess for the month. I hear Mr. Pedro coming back. Pedro, your mic is hot.
Hot, hot, hot. Exciting times. I'm glad it's hot. Don't you wish your computer was hot like me?
Suddenly, I have a feeling Pedro's microphone is about to break right now. Click. Anyway, I was just going over just the kind of the monthly outlook on Bitcoin, how it's going before I transitioned into a woman. I mean, the news.
A woman? Wait, what?
Sorry.
Transition into.
Sorry, the inner monologue must have turned off there for a minute.
That's funny.
Anyway, we've got a bunch of viewers here on
Yeah,
on Rumble. Thanks to everybody that's watching us here. Remember, we're a interactive show. I said it slower so you guys would hear me. It's like when talking to someone who speaks a different language and you speak slower, it actually makes it worse for them because now they don't understand your anything at all. At least we got Pedro commenting. Let's go. Let's goo. Let's goo. We all need to goo.
Oh, yeah, no.
I'm starting to
No. Ooh, that's not good.
Hey, Pedro, I got something for you. I got a little bit of good news for you. We had a first the other night on DYOR here. And I didn't realize it until yesterday when I was going over some analytics. A new feature popped up in the analytics screen telling us that we have so many followers, blah, 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 and so many subscribers. And I was like, we don't have any memberships. Like, what kind of subscriber is that? I had no idea what it was. So I'm clicking around, clickety. I'm like, I literally had no idea. I'm like, there's no button. I'm looking on, I go to look at our channel from my alt account. There's nothing that says subscribe. I'm like, what the hell? It turns out that if you've ever started the rant process for our channel, I don't know if you had to complete it or at least click the, started the ranting process to donate. Another window now opens up below that saying, would you like to subscribe instead of just ranting once, but do a monthly subscription to the channel?
Really?
And you remember our new viewer the other day, Mr. Rumack?
Yes.
He chose to subscribe, and the default, if you have never set up subscriptions, which I hadn't, the default is $5 a month. So we have our first paying member. It's also our newest member. $5 a month. He's helping us spread the word on this show.
That's huge.
It is huge. It's the first time
huge.
it's ever happened to us.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the first time we got a super chat. We were like, oh my God, someone took their money and gave it to us. Mr. Rumack is giving us $5 a month until he dies. Or his card expires and he doesn't renew it.
Or he just says, these guys are crackpots. I'm bouncing.
Right.
I'm bouncing like a red ball on a playground.
So apparently, for those of you, we're obviously going to have to mention this when Chuck is around, is to be a subscriber. And what I did then, it said it allows, I don't know really what it allows you. You support the channel, but it says, get extra member perks and access to emotes. And I have set up emotes. You saw the emotes of you and I, these things and stuff like that. But also there's the emotes of the different Bitcoin, ETH, and USD women and all that type of stuff here. I've now I've now segregated them. So you and I are just the basic emotes, but all the extra DYOR and Bitcoin emoji girls are for the subscribers only as a perk.
Oh, check that out. That's cool.
As a perk, yes.
So I guess my question is this now. If we are able to do subscribe situation, then we should give more to the subscribers then, right? Is that, I guess, more of a statement and question?
Right. See, here's the problem though, is I don't know what to do though, because $5 a month is $60 a year. But with our discount, you can become a Rumble Premium member for $89 a year. And then you get to watch the premium only sections. I don't know what the subscriber, I have to figure that out. I need to talk to somebody that's also a creator here at Rumble to find out which one's better. And otherwise known as, let's go see what Reddit has to say.
Gotcha.
Anyway, I thought that to be very interesting. And that's a big cap on our shoulder here. That's a big cap on our head, big feather on our whatever the phrase is. That somebody who just joined us said, hey, there's value to this. So now we can say, when we approach advertisers, which I have a meeting at 2:30 for it, we can say, yes, people subscribe to our channel. Or
you didn't even tell me about this. Wait. You said we're potentially having a what?
Yeah, remember I told you the Augusta precious metals people wanted to talk?
Oh, yes. I'm a little slow. Yep.
I'm just having a discussion with them about what we can do in the next year. Try and pitch them on becoming a show sponsor.
That'd be awesome. I would love to do three major things. I'd like to be a sponsor for Crypto.com for our people. Some type of precious metal that our clients or our viewers can actually take part in and receive yield off of precious metal, whether that's gold, silver, palladium, even wood. You know, like there are some people now. Yeah. I saw it. I was looking at wood prices and trying to see like historical. So then all of a sudden something popped up on my ad saying, oh, I get what you're saying. Oh my goodness, bro. I'm a little slow there. You're like, wood.
Come on, that was a Beavis and Butthead moment for sure.
That totally was.
What's the yield on this?
Yeah, exactly. But anyhow, my friend, as we digress into the craziness, I think what's interesting is that right now we're watching, anything that it could be used as a way to create assets, right? Like houses right now are assets. People need to buy it and live in it, right? Stocks. But the underlying value behind that is wood, right? The underlying value is copper. And so like you can earn yield on copper. You can, there's all these things that you can do. So I'm definitely looking for a company out there that not only just does gold and silver, but also other underlying assets. So I was looking for that, and all of a sudden I started getting all these ads and all this stuff. Oh, if you're looking to diversify your portfolio with gold, consider and I'm cool with that. That's what I want. Like that type of algorithm catch is important to me, because I'm like, okay, cool, you're bringing things to me that I want to see, and I can go through and research, right? Some of these are like definitely things I'm not looking at. And then I also sent you one about, did you in our private thing for business owners and them being able to transact in cryptocurrency. So like I'm just looking for little things like that I know it's coming already, and because it's coming, it's why not take advantage of it, right? Like it's silly not to sit there and go, okay, well, this is the future. We know that nobody really gets it yet. Yeah, let's go ahead and capitalize on that. So anyways, as I again digress for that,
that's all right. It's all one big digression here. See if my X promotions have helped at all here. Something weird is going on with the X feed today, Pedro. I keep saying we have no viewers, yet we've had definitely for sure have had viewers. Yeah, it still says here. Anyways, but it says we're got someone watching on YouTube. Thanks for that. Crypto Unicorn says, he said would.
Oh, Crypto Unicorn. We know he's an 18-year-old kid.
That's definitely at heart, for sure. Once again, everybody, welcome, everybody. Please comment, like, subscribe, follow, repost, chat. Just do it. Pedro, we have an interesting, we talk about, real-world assets. We talk about tokenizing stocks. We talk about all these types of things. What's a super interesting thing?
Talk to me, Goose.
Is the company and organization that does most of the stock clearing behind the scenes for the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ, and that is the Deposit Trust Clearance Corporation. They handle $3.7 quadrillion in transactions a year. Meaning, for those of you that don't understand how exchanges work in the U.S. and why,
can I suggest something real quick? Every time you move, it sounds like you're wrestling a bear.
Oh, my mic.
Yes.
Okay, I'll move slowly.
Yeah, it's still there.
The reason we have had this regulation issue in the U.S. with exchanges for so long is because exchanges in the U.S. operate differently than crypto exchanges. Crypto exchanges, they do everything in-house because they can, they're allowed to. They hold your money, they hold the crypto, they hold everything, and that's why when there's big failures, there's big problems. In the U.S., exchanges don't hold your money and don't hold your shares of stock, and they don't hold your commodities and all that type of stuff. And the New York Stock Exchange, they just match prices. They get paid. The exchange just matches buys and matches sells, and has market makers in there that do. That's all they do. The people that actually handle the stocks are companies like the Deposit Trust Clearance Corporation. So if for some reason the New York Stock Exchange gets hacked, gets blown up, gets whatever, that your stock doesn't disappear. The DTCC handles that stuff, and they are essentially a custody organization. And they handle essentially 3.7 quadrillion worth of products. Oops, that's not the story. Where's the story? Oh, come on. This drives me crazy when this happens. Heaven Christ. Ruined a perfectly good thing because the page refreshed. But anyway, the DTC tradition started out with a big warehouse. Hold on. A big warehouse moving stocks around. They literally, in the old days, if you bought Ford and sold GM, they would go over and take the Ford stock and put it, whoever you bought it from, put it in your thing, and take your GM stock, and they would put it over on that shelf. And then that didn't work, so then they just started having brokerage accounts. And so brokerages have accounts with this, and so they say, all right, this brokerage has this and this and that and this type of stuff. And they did all that behind the scenes. Now computers do it. And they have multiple locations, so there's no, it's all digital, so there's no actual one place that could get wrecked. However, there are still, if you have shares of a stock and you want to trade them, you can send them to these guys. And they put it in the system, boom, becomes electronic, you can do it. They are moving to the blockchain, Pedro. They're moving to the blockchain. And a while ago, they applied to have securities traded on blockchains and recorded on blockchains. And people, right now, there's no real way to determine the true amount of shares that are outstanding for a company that in total that have been borrowed or issued and borrowed against. Meaning that sometimes people short stocks without actually really borrowing them. They kind of flub the system. And there's calls to have a very accurate way to do that. So we all can track it. And if it's on a blockchain, we can all write apps to track this stuff and know exactly the short interest in something, who has borrowed what, all this type of stuff becomes very, very transparent. And so the SEC said, okay, you guys can try this, and we're going to do it with registered wallets and, as a limited, kind of, they call it the sandbox thing. Do whatever you need to do in this sandbox. Nobody's breaking any rules. And then, have you ever heard of the blockchain Canton? Canton? I haven't. Canton leads privacy coin rally as midnight Zcash Monero tick up. The price movement comes after the Deposit Trust group announced it would adopt the Canton network for the issuance of tokenized securities. I don't know how many of you understand this, but this could possibly mean that the Canton network could see more than $1 quadrillion worth of orders recorded on it. I don't mean $1 trillion of cash being put through it, because that money goes through the exchanges. But the recording of the transactions and who holds what could be part of the Canton network. Pedro, have you heard of this Canton blockchain?
Yeah, a little bit. I've actually, I don't know. I think it was running a space on him. It was one of Mario Nafal's other shows that is on his network, and they came on, maybe 6 months ago, and I thought it was really cool because I was watching and I was just like, that's really cool. Like, and they were talking about it, and they're one of the biggest things that they were saying is that they're getting the adoption from institution is really one of the ones that they were really, like they have to just get it. Like they've got to prove themselves, and then in that you would see a proliferation of people really jumping on and working with them. So yeah, I think it's a must-have. We need that type of thing. My biggest concern though is I want more companies like that instead of like.
Well, here, let's put this in perspective. Ripple made a big deal about getting the ledger to be used for the Dubai land transfer recording, the deed transfer stuff. They were super hyped it up, like, oh my God. And then people looked at the potential volume of transactions.
Nothing.
And it's, to be clear, the price of the house doesn't go through the ledger, just the transaction of the deed
itself.
And all that. Right.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, that's only going to be a couple 100,000 transactions a year. And there's a couple 100,000 transactions on Solana every block, Yeah. And so they're like, okay, that's not a big deal. It didn't. But Canton has, if this trial is successful, potentially in a year or two, all of the stock trades, not like personal private information, but just, this amount of stock for this company has been traded. It is registered to this brokerage or wallet, or however it's done, could be recorded on the blockchain. And so you would be able, you, me, anyone could write an app to say, all right, how many shares exactly of Ford Motor Company out there are, and how many have been lent to someone else? Because part of this would be to say, all right, if you're borrowing shares from someone else, right now it's a phone call and behind the scenes people kind of work on it and click a button here and there, and stuff gets over shorted. Every once in a while something happens, they're like, wait a minute, there's more shares being shorted than have been issued to that company. And they're like, all right, and the SEC has to get involved and figure out what happened. And it's usually just people making clerical errors or malfeasance and people, fraudulently doing things. Doing this on the blockchain would end that. And so you would be able to see, all right, there's 1 million shares of Ford issued. There's currently 200,000 shares borrowed against and lent to someone else. So this short interest would be 200,000 shares. And you can write all sorts of dashboards. It would make it very transparent and all that. And the amount of transactions recorded on the Canton blockchain in dollar value would be many quadrillions of dollars. Quadrillions. That doesn't mean the quadrillions of dollars are into this Canton coin and all that type of stuff. It just means there's that many transactions going through it, which would generate, each one would be a micro fee. And it's something that could be massive for the industry. What's not massive is that the news actually didn't drive the price at all. Over the past year, the price came down from 13 cents to 7 cents. Not that volatile. The chart looks like, oh my gosh, it dropped down a lot. That's not a lot in crypto terms. A 40% drop. Not much of a big deal. The right news and that thing could go to $10 tomorrow. But I found it to be very interesting that finally we're getting some traction with.
You're really wrestling that bear so well.
I don't know why. Is my battery dying? I'm literally the mic isn't bumping against anything.
I know, that's why I just don't understand. Maybe lift it up. There you go. Oh my goodness. Oh, so much better.
Why don't you guys tell me my sound sucks?
I told you. I've told you twice. I said you now the third time I was like, bro, you sounds like you're wrestling a bear. Now you're really wrestling a bear. Now, bro, I was, your mic sucks. Okay, I should have done that. So much better now. Wow.
You viewers out there, bad job. You're all fired.
I should have just DM saying, hey, you need to change out something because it just sounds really bad. It sounds like when somebody gives somebody a hug if they're speaking right, and then like on the stage, and then somebody gives them a hug, and it's like.
Yeah, the mic wasn't pushed in. My mic goes in and screws into the transmitter, and it wasn't.
Yep. It makes so much sense.
Right. I hope nobody that was potentially a sponsor was watching here today.
It's okay. Even if it is, we fix it, rectify the situation. They can see that the quality is rarely good. Or it's normally good, and rarely is it, not in a good situation. But jumping back to what we were talking about here, I think one of the biggest things is that just one company right now that's doing that kind of is out in the lead is great, but I think you need more, because here's the thing, like one exchange can't handle the full veracity of all the transactions, right? Like you need a lot. And with this company, I think you need more like it, right? To be able to handle that. So you can almost have cross chain analysis that helps with both ends, right? And sit there, and if there is one that is being nefarious, the other one will be able to spot it out and go, nah, that ain't cool, dog. Y'all messing up, right? Like, and so and the part is that I think, and it's already very similar to that when it comes to the blockchain, but you can still mess with the blockchain a little, right? And that's where I sit there and I go, okay, let's go ahead and just have more companies. I think you need more companies to handle this, to bring in and do what they do. Anyhow, what's really interesting? Today, 12 years ago, so 12 years ago today, Michael Saylor said Bitcoin days are numbered.
the change of heart.
The winds of change.
Yeah, the winds of change, that's for sure. Now he's $70 billion into it.
There he is. That's funny. My brother.
Pedro, we've had a big drop in Bitcoin today, but looking at the what chart is this? Why did I don't want that. The 15-minute chart here, it looks like we got a little swing low there and a bunch of demand wicks. Looks like we could be starting the trend up after the morning dump.
And they went through and they set it up pretty well. So you saw them push up, morning dump. Looking at volume here on that 1 hour, I don't know. I don't think it's going to go up. It could, but my thought process, this is just simply, you can see it came down yesterday's low, put in the demand wick. I think we could continue down because we're going up first thing in the hour, which is the new hour, and we're kind of going up. We went down just a little, and now we're going up. So it looks like we might be going up roughly to got to come back and test that 87,300 area where all the moving averages sitting, And then I would expect to see this kind of continue down, right? Because we saw, I mean, honestly, this market this past week has just been consolidating, especially with the numbers that came out, basically just decimated what the government was saying employment, is trash and unemployment is, or they were saying employment is amazing and unemployment is doing okay, right? And now it's just like, holy crap, wait, what just happened? Right? And, and shocking because the producers are slowing down. And since the producers are slowing down, there was already shocking, like there were no tariffs. Like the tariff push really wasn't there, right? And so now, I mean, I would not want to be Powell. I just straight up, I would not want to be Powell right now, right? Like, and the drop up, but here's the thing, he's going to drop this interest rates again in, January. And I'm probably just, I mean, it's just, I think they're going to do, they're going to jump in and they're going to say, we need to drop the rates, right? We need to get employment going. But here's the problem, right? Nobody's buying anything. Everybody's holding their pearls and close to their heart. Their clutches the pearls, right? Or they're clutching their pearls. They're not willing to go out and push it out. So it's one of those things that Powell's in. What's up? What's up?
They're clenching and they just don't want to push it out.
Oh, bro, come on, grow up. We're not in junior high anymore. Oh. Oh man, I guess we are. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. That's like me and my that's what she said joke. So it's all right.
Yeah,
we gotta have it. We gotta have it. All right. So here's the thing though, and this is like really important to understand, right? Now, how are they going to stimulate this economy? Are they going to do it? Are the banks going to loan out money to small businesses, which will start to stimulate from a grassroots stand? Will they lower interest? As they lower interest rates, are we going to see Generation Y, Generation Z buy houses? Where are they going to put their money, right? Like if we start to see a housing crash, I've talked to, I have a few banks and I've talked to them. I said, hey, look, I'm looking at potentially buying some stuff. And one of the tellers was like, I'd wait 6 months. How much supply you have? She looks at me with wide eyes and she's like, I go, really? I was like, and she just said, I would wait. At least personally, I would wait. And I was just like, man. So that's in the area that I'm at, right? And I live in an area that is very, doing, during recessions, it always does okay. Never is truly hit really hard,
Right.
In the same sense. And so like for her to sit there and do that, and I go, 2008, 08, and she kind of looked at me, shrugged her shoulders, and I go, well, maybe not that bad, but how much supply? And she shrugged her shoulders a little, and I was like, okay, I need to find out what's going on. So that's in my area, and it was so shocking because typically the bank where I go is very busy. It's always busy, especially around like 2 to 5. There's always a line. 2 to 5, 3 to 5, always a line. Doesn't matter when, right? It's just all, and it was empty. I didn't see any tellers there. There was only 2 tellers, and I was just like, this is really bizarre. Like it just felt eerie, And so it's one of those moments I'm like, is this kind of that calm before the storm? Because again, people don't have jobs to go out and spend money. People are losing jobs. Unemployment is really picking up. And so the fact that we're seeing this, right? And we've talked about, how many times have I said, look, unemployment is rigged in a way where every 6 months, people drop off in unemployment. And additionally to that, right? That number then, what happens? It goes down. Because
Right.
unemployment, when unemployment goes up, it's a bad situation. When unemployment goes down, it's a good situation. But if unemployment is going up, and we already have the last 6 months of people being dropped off, that's a bad situation. And so watching that actually happen, seeing slowdown in construction, seeing slowdown in a few other, in the producers index, right, of manufacturers slowing down on that. This is an indication of, okay, stuff is starting to hit the fan, and it's now starting to really kind of hit home. We're watching CPI, which is the consumer.
Yeah, that came in good today, didn't it?
Yeah. But here's the thing again, like some of these numbers are are in lag state, in a lag.
Right.
So it's like one lever goes up, one lever goes down, but ultimately we're seeing the trend go down. That's the thing, right? Like lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And so it's one of those moments now that it's like, how bad is this? Like really, like how bad is it? And I don't mean that like in like a Great Depression situation. I mean more or less like this recession, how far is it going to go? Like, and again, seeing a price drop in houses. We've watched housing now drop here for a couple months, and we should probably look at that again today. Home sales. I think it was 2 months ago. This was at. It came up a little, but we're watching roughly we are below last year's low. Typically we have about a 3%. I think the average house increase is 3.4%, 3.7% average growth in housing, and we've watched it since 2003, or actually not 2003, 2022, go from 400, and this is new houses, medium sales, go from 453,000 to 428,000, now to 422,000, and now we're coming down to, looks like it's probably going to close a little bit lower than 420,000. And the redeeming thing here is existing homes, right? That we're watching existing homes go up in value. But if people start to lose jobs, right, and can't actually pay for their house and their mortgages, this is where we're going to see things hit, right? When you look at it, where people start to put houses on the market. I know in my area, you're seeing a lot of, for sale signs starting to pop up. So, I think we potentially could see a dramatic shift here, where we see kind of a bit of a crash in the housing market, especially the fact that nobody's going out, and this is really important to understand, and going on vacation. You're like, well, Pedro, why does that matter? Because what has been the progenitor of people to buy houses? Airbnb, right? We're talking maybe 4%. The numbers that I've heard is basically
a lot of people got into the second.
15%.
Yeah, a lot of people bought extra places or beach homes or lake homes.
Yeah.
And then really they don't live there at all. They just rent them out.
Right. And so I've read numbers between 4% to 15% of the market is actually houses that are rented out for Airbnb. And so the fact that people are not going out, that they're clutching their pearls, that they're holding on and suppressing their good joke. So this is where they're kind of watching and seeing what's happening here, especially when it comes to existing homes. They're watching pretty close. So we'll keep an eye on that. But let me go ahead and take a screenshot of this here real quick so that we can sit there and go. So it's one of those things I think is important to be paying attention to. And so we'll keep monitoring this. But my biggest thing is, as I'm looking at this, is if we really see this year, by the at the end of the year, but this year coming up, start to see unemployment pick up. Yeah, expect things to kind of get rough. December prices. Oh shit, I forgot to put the year. But I mean, I still don't think that it's a bad thing. I still think in an inflationary environment, houses are not going to bottom out. I just don't see that happening, right? Like, I think you'll see a major sell-off, but in the circumstance that we're in, when I say inflationary, I mean US dollar dropping pricing in relationship to what's actually happening with the Japanese yen, as well as the euro, right? Because the US dollar index is based off of three primary currencies. One is Japanese yen, the other one is, I remember what it's called, Europe in general. So you can see how they all fluctuate. They're euro, when I say euro, in general. So this is one of those things that we're watching happen. Now, when I'm looking at the market at large, I want to see the debt, right? What's happening with the debt? Is it really picking up? What's going on with our GDP? And it's kind of cool to see, like in real time, GDP picking up, right? But it's really done by how, right? Those tariffs are picking up. You're starting to see it kick in. We're also watching sooner or later, we're watching the U.S. government employees drop, which hence is slowing down what the government needs to spend on debt to keep itself running. So if in the next 6 months, if Trump can pull this off, right, we're going to see a drop here. We're going to see things happen. Even he said, look, it's going to get rough. But if he can secure those manufacturing jobs, if he can secure Japan coming over, Europe coming over, Abu Dhabi, many of the deals that he has, if he can get them up and running here in the next 6 months, really kind of not, I'm not talking about like major like up and running. I'm just talking like he's got construction going on. He's renovating properties. We're actually seeing real businesses come into America and establishing jobs. Then you're going to see a big spike. But as of right now, that's not what we're seeing. So I keep saying 6 months. At first I said 2 years, then I said he has a year and a half. Now we're at that year mark, right? And if he can't do it in 6 months here, as midterms start to come, issues are done for him. And his whole entire move here, it's just negligible. I mean, he's got Congress, he's got the Senate. Granted, he has to fight with guys who are kind of, even Republicans that are not for him, right? And I think that's a good thing. I do think that's a very good thing, right? The fact that he's got opposition, he just doesn't have the full gambit to run amok, right? So I think, having that. But the biggest key is this, can he really get those jobs going so that we can see employment pick up?
Well, we shall see, but we're going to see the results of that hopefully long before the midterm elections show up, so that the Republicans have have everything they need to keep this going. God forbid we get the Democrats coming in, and regardless of all the policies you want to talk about, Elizabeth Warren and crew are already talking about how to rein in crypto and how to withdraw all this new guidance and all these new rules and all these new things. They're literally Elizabeth Warren group wants to put it back into the criminal mode, in the literal sense of the word, Pedro, to decimate it, to reduce its effect by 90%. Anyway, Pedro, I'm going to take this opportunity to read an ad, and I wish Kaching, if you're listening right now, because this one's called The Fall of Minneapolis. Seriously, here. Let's see. Oh, wait, hold on. I got to redo it. Accept and start.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Here we go. Hey, everybody. A quick word about one of the most important documentaries you're going to watch this year. It's called The Fall of Minneapolis, produced by Alpha News and award-winning journalist Liz Collin. This film blows the lid off what really happened with George Floyd, the trial, the media lies, the police body camera footage they never showed you, and how an innocent city was burned while good cops were thrown under the bus. It's already been watched 10 million times and praised by Charlie Kirk, Megyn Kelly, Jack Posobiec, Dinesh D'Souza, Tim Pool, and many more who care about truth and justice. Best part, it's 100% free right now. No subscription, no paywall. Go watch The Fall of Minneapolis today at thefallofminneapolis.com or just search for it here on Rumble. I'll drop the link in the chat in a minute. And if this film opens your eyes like it has for the millions of others, please consider a 100% tax-deductible donation at alphanews.org so they can wake up even more Americans. You deserve the real story. Watch it tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a QR code over here. It says The Fall of Minneapolis by Alpha News. Go watch the free documentary, The Fall of Minneapolis, right now at thefallofminneapolis.com and see the evidence the media has been hiding from you. Ladies and gentlemen, hold your cell phone up to that QR code. Put your eyeballs on our advertisers. It'd really help us out. Regardless of your position on things, it's always good to get an alternative view on something. And watching The Fall of Minneapolis will help you get both sides of the story. So ladies and gentlemen, also if you're watching on your phone, there's a chat feature there. It says learn more. Go ahead and click that link. If you're watching on the replay, there's a a link in the chat to go see and watch The Fall of Minneapolis. 100% free. They don't even want your money, but they'll take it if you offer it. Thanks to The Fall of Minneapolis.com and Alpha News for sponsoring this segment, DYOR Live. That was interesting. That one just came out of nowhere. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, The Fall of Minneapolis. Thanks everyone that's watching us. We got a couple of people watching us on almost every platform that we are on, except for stats are saying not a single person has watched on. Now it says two people are watching on X. So thank you for those of you watching on X. Make sure that you comment. We are an interactive show here. Only a little bit more left in the show here today. A couple other news stories that I thought would be interesting before we close the show out with a little bit more Bitcoin talk. I gotta get a new stream deck. I need one of those big ones. Did anyone see Donald Trump's speech last night? He addressed the nation and talked about all the good things that have been going on in somewhat of I don't think he's going to be addressing us anymore during the holidays. And he kind of laid out what has happened in the past 11 months with the country. And regardless of your political position on this, and I know there are many out there that have Trump derangement syndrome, and other people that just can't stand him for whatever reason. Some people even claim they've taken all their rights. He's taken all their rights away, and they're just slaves living in a solitary confinement now. Which, of course, none of that is true. But he went through piece by piece all the things that have gone on in the country, as far as turning the economy around, turning our military around, turning the use of our military around. The effort to rein in Congress's spending, the effort to fix healthcare, all this type of stuff, including immigration, all this type. And it was a speech of just epic proportions. It was epic, and it outlined all the reasons why I am proud to be an American again. And if you've heard me before on this show, before Mr. Trump was president, because I've traveled the world a lot for work. I went from being very proud to be an American till the second term of Barack Obama's presidency. I started saying, people say, where are you from? And I would say, I live in Canada. Because I was at the time. And that was a big switch, because the world switched their opinion of the U.S. with our forever Afghanistan war. And after we got Osama bin Laden, we didn't leave Afghanistan. It turned right around, and the country was just not going in good directions. And even to be clear, even Mr. Trump's first term in office, he didn't know what he was doing and screwed a lot of things up, especially with all the and I won't go into that. He just didn't do a great job, because he didn't know how to do it right. With first term and then 4 years of working the political scene, he now has an idea of what to do, and he's been kicking butt. and he solved a lot of problems. We've had 3 million illegal immigrants leave the United States, 1 million by deportation, 1.9 million by self-deportation. That's been a big boon to getting our country back on the right track. Our emergency rooms aren't overflowing now because those people don't have health care, so they go to the emergency rooms. Those are not overflowing with illegal immigrants with no way to pay. Our healthcare system is getting back in order. Mr. Trump is changing the healthcare, the Obamacare thing from just paying insurance companies a subsidy to lower our people who use Obamacare, to lower their rates, to going to be giving the money to the people so that they can pick and choose, which will cause competition and lower price. It's a big deal. It's a lot of good stuff happening. And what he failed to talk about, though, is how much money he's making during this whole thing. The Trump Media shares soar amid planned $6 billion merger with fusion power firm. Trump Media has been growing like crazy. It started with Truth Social. It has grown into Truth Social Plus, their TV streaming platform. Trump Media has taken a position of ownership in Rumble. It has all sorts of fingers in the pot here. And now they're merging with a company called Fusion Power. All stock merger. Trump's firm will provide $300 million if the merger is not completed. The combined firms aim to site and begin construction on utility-scale fusion power plant in 2026. Now, what's interesting is that every big every big company that wants to deliver data to people now has been running into an electrical problems for a long time. There's not enough electricity. There's too many data centers being built. The power grid can't handle it. Trump is actually in a speech last night talked about how 1,000 power plants have been greenlit. Natural gas, nuclear, small nuclear sites, along with clean coal again, which is very interesting. But also his own company is now merged with a power production firm. So clearly Trump Media is going down the road of planning for its own power needs and growth in the data crunching, compute power, and delivery too. So I found that to be a very interesting thing. Pedro, you back there?
I am. Can you hear me?
I thought I heard you come back there.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I just had to jump off. I had to go to the.
And so, you're right. Your conference call, but Trump Media, what their modus operandi is, or modus, whatever that phrase is.
Modus operandi.
They've built uncancelable infrastructure to secure free expression for Americans online. Meaning with True Social, with True Social Plus, with all of the media outlets that they've invested in, and they've invested in a lot more that we know about. And so people can speak their mind. They don't edit what people say. They don't derate things. If advertisers don't want to be on their platform, they don't say our users have to change. They say, okay, you advertisers don't need to be on our platform then. We'll get other advertisers. There's plenty of advertisers out there. I had one guy today on the Blue social platform called Blue Sky criticized Dan Bongino. He's leaving the FBI to go back to his podcast. And he criticized him, calling the sponsors on his podcast wacky and crazy and out of touch and weird and all this type of stuff. Yeah. And I ripped that guy a new ass. I said, look, I said, keep your insults to yourself. Every one of those sponsors you think is weird is started by an entrepreneur and is a struggling business person trying to make it in this world. And they're selling the things that they believe that they can sell. It doesn't matter if you agree with it, it's a good product or not. That's a small business that you're dumping on. And I told him, I said, frankly, that's elitism at its worst. And it is. And so the Trump Media Group has created, he hasn't responded yet.
I was going to say, you know that he's going to just say you're just a hippie, not a hippie. You're just a capitalist elitist yourself because of your statement alone suggests that.
Dude's a dick face, so I
He'll
don't
flip.
care.
Anyways, all right.
But
Oh, by the way,
anyway,
you can go ahead. You can go ahead and have me show my face. That's good.
All right, I'll work on that in a minute. But anyway, so to sum up this story is that the Trump Media Group has been actively branching out into all the different verticals they need to provide their service, and now they have power. They had an investment with a data center company a while ago. I can't remember which one it is. They do have an investment with Rumble, and thus the Tether data center stuff that they're putting together too. In essence, to create an organization that someone else can't take down. What happens, if you've seen this in the past, is political entities have put pressure on AWS to say, hey, wait a minute, you have these people, advertise guns and stuff, and that goes through AWS, so that violates your terms of service, right? You can't advertise guns on Amazon, right? And Amazon's all of a sudden, when the government calls them on, it's like, oh yeah, we can't do that. We better ban these people from using AWS. And so what Mr. Trump is wisely seeing is that someday when the winds turn and another political party's in power, they'll be coming after him. And he's going to own all his infrastructure, and he's going to be like, screw you guys. Anyway, found that to be very interesting. That's some forward thinking on his part, that's for sure.
It's interesting. Jumping back here real quick, I want to point out one of the things we've been waiting for is a DOT, right? We want DOT to come down to our low areas here that we've been checking out. And so we're getting close to that 142 area here. I'm excited. I want to see it keep coming down. Again, speaking of data centers and how things work on the blockchain, DOT is definitely still going to be a major leader. They're a company that make money. They offer a lot of things. So again, I'm looking at DOT. So one can only hope that it gets back down to that 97 area. And if people are like, wait, what? Like, why do you want? Because look, if I could buy let's say if I can get 1,000 DOT, it's huge. Just look at that.
You mean if you could get 1,000 DOT for 25 cents each, that would be huge.
No, I mean, if I threw $1,000 into DOT and pick up 1,000 DOT, that would be dope. Like, that would be like the coolest thing. Like, like, again, it coming down to 97 cent, 96 cent, right? Like, this is going to be a great purchase price. Because I don't see DOT going away. I don't see Chainlink going away, right? Chainlink is another one we've been kind of waiting for. I'm speaking of like infrastructure and energy and Chainlink. So no, I didn't.
Link.
Yeah, boom. This is so you can see it's starting to fall through this area here. To buy $1,000 for myself at $9, $8 for Link. Again, this is another company that I feel like is just being suppressed, wanting price to go down. And again, another one is H&T. These are Ondo. I think Ondo's lost its flavor, right? But again, we're seeing Ondo. It's got a great business model. It knows what it wants to do. We're watching everything go that route, and it's like I just feel as if these are potential coins that are they hold a lot of potential. Just like I talked about. Why am I forgetting the name of it now? XMR.
Monero,
yeah, just like we talked about Monero when it was down at the $100 mark, $90 mark, right? I would said this is not going away. Like this will not go away. Regardless of it, they're outside of the United States. They can decide to, move and if the long arm of the United States wants to reach them, they can go to Dubai, right? Like it's, we could watch that happen again, and especially if there's a new regime change again, right? Because I think both are regimes, like I'm going to add that, it's not just one or the other. I think it's both. I favor more one that proliferates free speech and more a smaller government. But again, we've seen that one itself do stupid things that I disagree with, more as a libertarian. But again, jumping back to here, these coins, right, like Chainlink, H&T, these are ones that highlight should have it right here. These coins highlight more independence, and I look at it going like they're cheap, and I don't, like, come on, like I've been holding off on it, like that 140, that 150 area. For H&T, even lower than that, if I can get it back down at, dude, like 130.
You've been talking about buying H&T for ages. And
yeah,
I'm just holding out.
I literally put money aside, waiting for these prices to hit, and see at these levels, even if I get it to bounce at $2, $3, right? Take off my position. I have nothing but free capital coming in, and then just let it run. So it's just these small little plays that I'm waiting for it to go ahead and buy it. And like look at Litecoin. Litecoin, I don't see going away. Like Litecoin is not going to go away. But how far is it? Are they going to let this thing sell off to? Well, we'll see what happens, right? But it's going to come down to these levels. Where's my? I thought I had Litecoin doing. Oh, I know what I did. Shoot.
Litecoin.
Yeah. This is what I'm looking at in regards to, because we're starting to see it really kind of accelerate some of the selling pressure on it. And so I think we could see a Litecoin come down to 50 area. Also this area right here. Right. This, creating the higher low, but lower low on other. Ah, dang it. They're calling me again to go on that conference call here. Give me 1 second. Let me finish this off here. The Litecoin roughly ranging at, come on, buddy, that 55, 50 area here. Love for it to come down to here. That would be Fabs. Yes, that would be fabulous. Fabs. Boom. That would be cool. I'd pick it up at those prices. Anything below 50, something that I'm looking at for Litecoin.
Get you some of that Litecorn.
Some of that Litecorn. Oh, dude. Undo here.
So that was the Chuck Jansen thing, Litecorn.
Gotcha. Ondo sitting here down at our lower levels here, starting to sell off. So like, I would love, like, again, people are like, no, what do you mean love? Bro, I don't think these coins are going away. So that 22-cent area here, I think it's smart to wait. It already came down to our 43, 38, and we could see it get down to this level here, that 19-cent, that 20-cent area here.
I think you're bang on with that one. What? I think Ondo is just doing a good job laying low right now, as they've build. Probably realized, as they build, and they've probably realized along with BlackRock and crew that, you know what, a super flying Ondo price right now isn't healthy. Let's let it come down. Let's let some of the VCs, let some of the other people who invested
profit.
in that early on take profits and get out, move on with their lives. We'll buy their stuff OTC from them at whatever price, and then they'll rocket that. They'll rocket that thing in a year or so when they have more products. And like the article I addressed earlier about tokenizations of stocks, once the clearinghouses are in on it too, all of these groups that tokenize them will, they'll have, that's right, Pedro. They'll have a lot more structure, and it'll be easier for them to launch new products, and it'll be easier for the big institutions that they want. They don't want retail in on this, because that's just like, that's like having to have 20,000 salespeople to get, 40,000 customers. You want 2 salespeople to get, 2 multi-billion, trillion-dollar or quadrillion-dollar customers. And that's what they want from these institutional sales. So I can see this being a long-term play to let it peter out for a little bit, get the insiders, investors, last people that haven't taken profits yet, buy all their tokens up on the cheap, and then blast it a year from now or something like that.
Yep. And I think it's smart to do that, right? Like I think that's what's now, like, now that I know, like, I'm so sad. I thought we were going to see a traditional Bitcoin or crypto rally from, October, November, December, because that's what we've always seen. And I didn't think that the institutions would take that away from the people, but they did. Darn you. So, but also on the upside, though, it is allowing the market to come down to areas that I think will be lifetime lows. Like my grandkids will sit there and be like, Grandpa Pedro, like, what made you decide to buy, XR? Actually, I'm gonna throw up in my mouth, but I dare say XRP down at, $1, and when it's sold off, and I'll be like, I missed it.
It's like, shut up, kid. Just go pick one of your Lambos and drive to school.
Not even close. It's funny. I got one of mine, right? I have one of mine, and one of my foster boys. I love him to death. He's one of mine. And so he was wanting to get. You want me to buy him Timberlands? And I said, let me see him out. I remember growing up, they were decent shoes, but they're like $250. And I looked at them, I said, what? I said, they can't be that good, right? Thinking, they were legit, right? Like back then, they were more working boots. They were like pretty decent. And so I went and looked at them and realized like they're just trash. Everybody, they maybe at the most last a year. They're more for, symbol. Kind of like how iPhones right now for kids are like, oh, he has an iPhone, it's the blue check mark or whatever, or green check mark. I don't know what that means. Anyways, I say that because, like, it's just all for show. So I said, listen, I'm not gonna buy you $250 boots when it's not gonna even last you a year, maybe 6 months through the winter. Like, no, right. Like if you want me to buy you a good pair of boots that will last you for 2 years, absolutely. I'll spend $200. If not, and if you buy a good pair of boots and you're wearing them, maybe twice a week, it's going to last you 2-3 years easily. If not, I mean, I've had boots 5 years, 6 years. And so he got mad at me, absolutely upset with me. He's like, why? And I was like, because if you want me to buy you something, I'm willing to buy you, but it's got to be good quality. I'm teaching you something here. And he obviously got mad at me and, was upset. And I was like, I love you, but I'm not going to indulge this because I don't want you to do this. And he'll learn, at age 17, they still get, they are their kids. You're really going to be able to do except just love on them and then show them kind of the right thing to do. Anyhow, in the same sense, many of these products here in crypto are good products, but they're selling off. So it just makes sense to me to wait until they come down to those lower levels where institutions want to get in at, where I'm going to get in on and have lifetime like lows, and then their kids, which will be my grandkids, be like, here you go. Here is your Toyota Corolla. It's a little supercharged. but it's a 2042 Grandpa. Yeah, dude, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But
it runs.
But it's still
It
good.
runs on trash. I just put the trash in, and it goes, and it can travel through time like a DeLorean.
Yeah, yeah, but it doesn't have it's not the green blah 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 whatever, right? Because every generation has their. Us, when I was growing up, you wanted super baggy pants, but the thing is you would buy them at thrift stores. It was cool to go thrift storing when I was growing up, right?
Hammer time.
Like, dun, 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 dun.
Welcome, Crypto Mike, to the house. Haven't seen you much
Crypto
today. Thanks for
Mike.
joining us. Really appreciate it. I just put in the. We're gonna end right at 2:00 here, Pedro, and
Gotcha.
we're gonna raid Wendy O's show here on Rumble
Wendy
when it's over.
All right.
And everyone that's watching the when we do that here in 10 minutes, to go out and when you get in her chat to say Striking and Pedro sent you from DYOR Live.
I don't know if you want to say Pedro. I've harassed her so much.
We'll just say
She like that guy.
Anyway, thanks for joining
I'll
us,
make it.
Mr. Manitoba himself, Crypto Mike.
You know, it's funny. I make fun of her TA when I do. I'm like, TA trash, man. Like, for real. Like, you know, do you actually make these trades? You know, I think she's like banned me a couple times.
No, she's just. I'm sure she just watches someone else's show, and that's what it seems like.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Anyway, but everyone's got their own shtick. She does very well. She makes a living for herself doing it.
Yeah,
so
respect.
Good for her.
I do
Yeah,
respect
definitely
her
respect
hustle.
for that.
Yeah,
Peace.
yeah, right. Shout out. Can work on that TA though.
Ugh.
Love it though. All right. Here we go. One last thing. So what any other cool news? Stuff you want to go over?
Yeah. Let me bring up my screen here. Why does it do that? Totally not the button I pressed. Brings up my super intimate mode here. Former Pump Fund dev sentenced to 6 years in prison for a $2 million Solana fund. I always have one of these anti-crime, but dudes getting busted for doing stupid shit in crypto articles ready to go. And I've been following this one for a while. He drained $2 million from his then employer, Pump.Fund, sent all the funds to random addresses, and he thought, gee, nobody would notice it. Turns out, the companies that miss $2 million, they go look for it.
Yeah,
He's been sentenced to 2 6-year prison sentences served concurrently after he pled guilty to fraud and transfer and criminal property. He drained $2 million worth of Solana from then employer Pump Fund, sent the funds to several random wallets. Canadian national, those darn Canuckistanis. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison by the London judge in London, Ontario. The former Pump Fund employee had already spent 308 days on tag. That's just court, home arrest, that type of stuff. Which will count towards the sentence. And he also spent 5 months in prison. Sentencing comes a year, and he siphoned an estimated $2 million of the Solana. Interestingly, didn't take the money for himself, but rather distributed the funds to thousands of random addresses. And then he immediately admitted to the crime on social media. Doesn't seem like this was a smart person here. A crypto Robin. Anyway, I thought that was just an interesting thing. We got Bitcoin's decided to do exactly as you say it was going to do, Pedro. That's finishing out our show here on the down low, as they say.
It's okay. We need to start doing maybe for our people who are subscribers who pay us a monthly $5 thing, right? Does that help the show out by boosting it when they do that?
I have no idea. I have to talk to someone that does this. Does this
That'd be
more for a
cool.
living. it would have to. I think all engagement, paying engagement is good, and having a subscriber level is like that. Hold on, what's Mike here have to say about this? He says, 2 milli in Solana for a few years of my life. Sold. Let's do it.
No.
That's CZ just did that. He did. What was he in the joint for 7-8 months? And he came out and still had billions. So he's like, all right, got to keep it all. So hold on, Pedro. There, I got a call from the Striking Junior. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. I'm actually tagging. What's it? Crypto? Oh no, Wendy O. The O show.
Sorry about that. I'm back already.
The Wendy O show. The O show. Alrighty, let's go. But yeah, we're seeing Ondo dump here. It wouldn't be dope if with like a week it just came down to that lower area here. That would just be like, yes, come on. Anyways, so we can actually talk about XMR. This is another one that we've been talking about for years. This thing is just a beast. Let me look at it. We talked about it when it came down and pulled back to the 100 area, right? This one entire position area. So yeah, Mr. Herlihy, they're pinging me on.
All right, Pedro, I'm going to take the show out. We're going to head over to Wendy O here. Thanks for the information here today. And the analysis, all that type of stuff. Deal with that call. I have to take one too as I get off the air here as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Monero still doing well, up a little bit today. Paying attention to that. But we are going to look at that. She's on my back screen right here. Look at that. That's how I roll here. That's why we have the good production. It would look like she's actually a guest on this show, when she's
soon.
not.
One day. When she realizes
all right,
I'm not that keeper of a guy.
Right.
All
right, let's see. What should I do here for the music? Let's put the exit music on. Oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to everyone watching the show today. Really appreciate it. Had a good crowd here in Rumble. As always, YouTube, you suck. Facebook, you did all right. Twitch, you did fine. X, you did fine too. And YouTube, you got to work on that algorithm, guys. Anyway, as you know, Pedro just left the show, so thank you to him. Thank you to all the great analysis Pedro provides. As always, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to have hosted another episode of this great show. I'm going to send all you guys over to the Wendy O show. When you get there, tell them Striking and Pedro sent you from DYOR Media. Tell her that, get her attention. Really appreciate that. So everybody, have a great day. Mate, you're going to see a little thing come up and say join. No need to do anything. Just stay there. See ya. Bye. Bye. Bye.